What's up, guys? It's your boy GRC. This is Crypto in the Morning. How is everybody doing today? I'm going to send one thing out before I forget on here because that's the last thing I have to send out. Oh, snap. That is dope. That is the last thing. Great to see everyone. No Sam Stolt today, guys. No Sam Stolt today. He is picking up his girl. I'm sorry for this, guys. Very unprofessional, man. Sorry about that. Let's read to the comments real quick. Guys, smash the like button. Smash the biceps. Smash biceps in the chat right now. If you're in here and you are friends with me in any way, shape, or form, please smash a bicep. Let's get this party started. I don't get to do solo streams much, so I'm very excited because the solo streams are way different, right? Like there's no interaction. I can look at every chat. So make sure you're chatting. If you want to chat with me, today is a good time. Monica, MoFit Meal, Sean Ramirez, great to see you. Absolutely inspiring person. The weekly crypto alpha and memes. Oh, Dominic only one. Good to see you, bro. Hello, Hex fam. Super Sin. Can we all appreciate 100% calculated commitment of Richard Hart by using $1 million Ferrari as a beach buggy just to make a Twitter post? That was a great comment. Hex Boy, Louis Siffer, Paul Sachs, Sean, Hexstack. Great to see you guys. Hey, real quick, I am going to post the link to the tweet. I'm going to be doing some chilling today, guys, while I'm going because I'm on solo stream, so I need to kill time anyway. Let me copy link to stream. Send link. Guys, please share that out. I want to see 20 shares on that right now. Make me happy. Biceps, 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 share. Biceps, share, biceps, share. Who else would you like to learn your crypto from? Does it look like I miss a lot? Do I look like I dot my T's and cross my I's? Or no? Or no? Yeah, I do. I pay attention to everything in my life. And I'm always excited. And even when times are tough, I always ask for help and I always try to communicate the best that I can. Not always the best at the communication part, but I try to be honest and I try to communicate, try to let people know where I'm at. But when it comes to this crypto game, you want no one else on your team but me. I can promise you that because I will never stop digging and I will never stop telling the truth. And those two things really bother people. Really bother a lot of people. I won't stop being honest. I've always been honest. That's the thing. A lot of these guys have, oh, I want to switch up my brand. It's like, bitch, you were for 3 years, you were being a dumb shit. Like you think it's all about reputation, being honest, spiritual clarity, working out, nutrition. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. The markets are fake pumping right now. Lots of fake pumping going on right now. I don't buy it for 1 second, guys. DeFi proof, 1 minute and 9 seconds. I want you to share this tweet. It would make me happy if you shared the tweet, hit the like, send this to somebody. Hex is trending 2 days in a row on Twitter. Hexicans take an hour of your day to use Hex. Well, I'm going to make everyone do that, A-Bit, on this show. So, A-Bit, if you want to jump on here for a minute, say what's up. Please feel free because I'm solo streaming today and I haven't talked to you in a minute, guys. We're going to be using that hashtag a lot today. I know I used it in this tweet right here. Go ahead and tweet that out. 1 minute, 9 seconds, DeFi proof. Hey, I'll invite someone on if someone wants to come on, but I have a lot to talk about either way, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stay. Got me some hands on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that just in case. Gymratcrypto sent me to show you the way.
DeFi proof.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
I know, 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 I know. I forgot my drink. That was it. I forgot my drink. Delt's on fleek right now. Absolutely popping. Bicep pop right there. That's no pump. Zero pump. On the road right now. Good to see you. What's up, GRC? What's up, everyone? Twitter deal approved 44 billion, baby. It's happening as long as Elon goes forward. That's interesting. I want to look that up. Guys, let's get right into the markets. I want to dive right into it. I'm going to go to nomics.com here. And we're just going to start here, okay? Boom. Let's look at what we're dealing with here. Control plus. We're at a 21K Bitcoin. Let's dive in a little. Let's check out the price action on the week. Oh, look at that big old candle. So we're about I got nobody today, so I'm just thinking on my feet here. 21,547 fake pump alert. Is there any way that we blow off all-time highs from this point? No. 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 The Fed's raising rates, absolute mayhem in the streets, and no one's felt the pain of financial burden yet. No one. It doesn't matter what you say. I'm alive. I'm around. People are not hurt yet the way they need to be. People have made mistakes, and they need to feel the pain of those mistakes. And the people that understand will take over, of course, like every cycle. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles, guys. So where are we at with the hex price? Let's dive into let's go into the hex price. Oh fuck, did I really just stop sharing that? I'm an asshole. Hex 439 up 22.6% on the daily, while Shiba Inu is up 26% on the daily. Seems really like a natural pump to me, guys. No, it does not. There's 11K Bitcoin call is still in play, I think, for sure. Fed talking about lowering rates again and stopping tightening. PVM, there's no way after 8 months bear. I mean, PVM, let's talk. I'll tell you what I think. If I'm being 100% honest, what I think is that we have 4 months left. I think there's 4 months of bear market left, and that's it. I don't think there's a year and a half of bear market left. I don't think it's till the beginning of next year. I think there's 4 months of bear market left, roughly 2 to 4 months. We've been down for 10 months, 4 years up, 1 year down. Maybe this is more normal than people think. Maybe the economic circumstances that we're under right now are a little bit more similar to previous than we might think. But all this news, all these things, I don't know so intimately, deeply about legacy finance. But I do understand that the variables, we come down to politics and legislation. And that's going to be a huge variable. Out in the country, but just got bench ab roller, 52 adjustable dumbbells on sale. May end up cost ridiculous instead of buying more dip. So effing use a lot. Yeah, you better be using that a lot. Absolutely not. 5 system failure knows the future. 5 system failure. You tell me, how long will we be down? There we go. September, October. Hexagon Tattooer agrees. What do you guys think in the comments? When do you guys think the bear market will start? I mean, the bull market will start roughly. Like if you had to guess, just on pure speculation, in the comments right below, where do you think? Or what months do you think? And what are some of the factors that go into that, right? Like, let's go into Hex has been streaming all over. I mean, Hex has been, and while you guys are writing that, and some people think 2024 is when we'll start going back up. So that's fair too. Like if the halving of Bitcoin and maybe we're down for 2 years because shit's really as bad as the general macro nightmare is. I don't feel any of it because I could care less. Just because I don't, I don't play by the same rules as everyone else. They say it may reverse Q1 2023. Q News, it says it may be a total speculation in hyperbole. Oof. This fall bottom. Yeah, Stephen Thomas. I feel the same way. Pulse Chain will launch and make different for us. We go sooner when Crypto in the Morning announces it. Yeah, whenever I announce it, that's when mid 2023 for general crypto market. No idea for Hex. Bulls are judged by normies. Bears are judged by volume of traders. Get rich quick crowd. Yeah, that's true. Just remember, market discount things advanced of them happening. That's true, guys. That's true. These are all really good points. Let's go over to the man himself. I want to see what's going on over on Richard Hart's Twitter. He is the man of he's the bear market king, or he's the top call king, bear market king, even though he technically didn't call the top. He almost called the top. Look at all the green cryptocurrencies. That's interesting. Let's see. Why is he posing? Is he teasing? The point is, when the market is red, Hex is green. When the market is green, Hex is greener. Well, I don't necessarily know if that's true. Richard, do you still think we'll go down to 11K? What's your opinion? Is it just a little rebound? And when Pulse Chain? No, I don't want the answer on mainnet, but what are thoughts on Bitcoin now? No answer. You get no answer, sir.
And now Hex dipped like 90+%.
All right, we're pulling this up, I guess. Let's do this.
Ethereum dipped like 80+%, and now Hex dipped like 90+%. And you're like, all right, that's what you get for it. And by the way, Hex is still up 250x versus Bitcoin and 75x versus Ethereum from January 5th of 2020. So people are like, dips are in the game, man. Hex has dipped to 75, 65% like 10 times or something, some large number. So this is normal for us. But for these other currencies, it's a once every 3 or 4 year thing. Graham.
So what did I just get from that? On a little side note, Bitcoin has a lot of, Hex has a lot of volatility within the bull and the bear market. So it feels like, it feels like to me like a 95% dip in any market is where the value prop starts getting so sticky that people will start buying it again. Like, even though it might be a little bear. And like, we're getting to that point, right? So maybe Hex just deals with this all the time. Maybe it doesn't go as low as this, but being that we're in the macro nightmare that we're in, maybe we're having a little bit more of that downward pressure. But in general, it seems like Hex can withstand these large dips very easily and rebound very quickly. And it can do it at a pace that not necessarily the other coins do it at. And that's very interesting. It can happen long before or even after, because sometimes with the lower volume, like, or the lower market cap, just like you saw with all these bounces today, for example, what bounced the highest? If you look, let's go to Hedron, for example. I'm going to speculate that Hedron bounced higher than Hex today. Why? Because I'm a genius and I don't have to look these things up beforehand. Okay, so let's look. Oh, Jesus Christ, I suck at this. There goes the genius comment. So Hedron up 21.84% on the daily. Why? I thought only people sell it all the time, no matter what. Everyone had it. No, these markets move together in tandem. They move together. Hedron moves together. Let's look. Let's look a little closer. I didn't even look this up before. I don't care what anyone says. I might be the smartest guy alive. I'm just brand new to crypto, but like, come on, this stuff's so predictable. So look, we had a mini pump for everything, a little fake out pump, right? God damn it. We had a little fake out pump for everything. But let's see, how much did we go up in the last 2 days, or on the daily? 21.82%. Let's go to Hex now. Probably be a little bit lower. Hex, well, Hex pumped a lot too, but there goes that idea. But you know what I mean? Like, some of the smaller cap coins will be a little bit more volatile, I feel like. Shiba Inu, not really smaller cap, but just stupid. Like, what's up with all the trading going on right now? It just seems so fake to me. And I don't have a perfect speculation on the market, right? Like, I'm kind of new to this, but I didn't have to assume whether Hedron was up on the daily. I never looked at it today, but I looked at Hex and I looked at Bitcoin. I looked at a lot of other stuff. So I knew intuitively that Hedron went up. Why? Because as I see when I look every day, they all just move together. They just pump together. Like, yeah, things can happen and whales can make things happen maybe artificially a little bit more in some coins than others to make more pumps happen or make it. But at the same time, it just feels like, and that's why I'm so bullish on Hedron. And I'm not bullish on Hedron like I'm buying it. I'm not even really buying it at all. I'm bullish on Hedron because when Hex goes up to 56 cents again to touch its all-time high, Hedron will be moving up at fucking crazy speeds. I don't care what your friends say. It doesn't matter what they say. They don't know. They don't. Period. You can trade within them. Yes, ABIT. Yes. Yes. And what, oh God, it's insane when you learn these concepts. And I've like learned this a little bit independently of like, I knew about Hart's Law, but you don't know it until you stare at the screen enough and you realize what you're looking at, right? Like it's crazy. I know I don't want to reiterate this, and it's not because I'm smart. It's because I paid, just look at this shit every day. How everyone told me that Hedron sucks. It's going to zero, blah, blah, blah. So much sell pressure. Why is not everyone selling it right now? It just bumped 22%. Why is it not being sold down right now? This second, why isn't everyone getting their computer out? Because it redistributes and people also want to take advantage of the pump. People want to see where it will go. I just think that these two things are traded in between each other at some capacity. One's not going to let the other go higher or lower depending on the value proposition between trading within them, which is an option with the HSI stakes to go trade directly within them. I think Hedron is going to melt people's faces, but it's going to be at a time when everything else is melting your face too. But I think it'll melt face a little bit more. And depending on what they add to it with the staking and everything, it might be something you want to have $1 billion of. I tell people $1 billion on Hedron, that's a good amount. Keep it, hold it. I think I got $1 billion for like $200 at some point. Or maybe like $600 or something. Hex is a very long-term hold. Yeah, so is Hedron. Exactly. This is a derivatives play. I want to tell everyone about Maxi all the time, the bond token. What are we getting into here? Do you guys understand what's going on with bond, with team? I mean, what's it called again? Damn it. Oh, base
Maxi,
token.
team, and base.
Maxi, team, and base. And I'm so excited to dive more into that because, as you guys know, big fan, huge fan of Maximus. Why? Because I have a brain. It functions appropriately. Okay. So when you have a derivatives play like Maxi, what did everyone say about the premium right away? Right? Like Hex Tangent came on here. Everyone came on here, told me premium's going to be trading 1-for-1. That's how it works. Blah, 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 blah. Trade it then. Why aren't you trading it? No one's trading it. Nobody is. 1%, 5%, some stupid little number. And then all these derivatives plays that are 1-for-1 mints with Hex, that value is there. And it's sticky as fuck. Win show with gold key. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go more into this Hex trending. Hex is trending on Twitter, guys. All right. So let me segment when Bullish is spamming him right now.
Say what?
I said Bullish is in contact with Gold Key right now for later on in this week.
Yeah, we're trying to get him and potentially Dip Catcher on at the same time. I know they're.
Oh, that would be absolutely nuclear. I'm so excited about Base and Team and Maxi. Let's go to this Hex hashtag real quick. Oh no, it's not. 40 tweets in the last hour. That's not enough, guys. All right, so we're gonna go to the top tweets with the Hex hashtag in it. Hey guys, anyone who's watching this, no, I am not a Hex Maxi, but Hex is pretty much the only currency that I've found appropriate enough to buy at this point, other than Ethereum and USDC. So you know what my bags are filled with. Well, I have Hedron too, and I have Maxi as well. So that's where my money goes. I'm just telling you, I'm being transparent. It has nothing to do with anybody telling me what to buy. Bullish knows people mention buying things all the time. I'm not there yet. You know, like financially probably is more the reason. I'm more worried about making money right now than I am about spreading my wealth for moon bags because that's not where I'm at this moment. Yeah, I claimed my PLSD and I sold it. Not going to lie to anyone. I sold it all. I wanted to keep it, but I just knew it was going to go down in price. So I sold it. And it did. But I'm not saying it won't moon and I won't, you know, like I'm not saying that at all. I didn't have that much. So I don't think anyone would care. Like nothing substantial. So let's look at here. Backed by extremely popular demand, 4 attendees has agreed to speak at the first Pulse conference online on July 14th to 16th. Guys, I will also be great to see Wendy's. I'll be also speaking at the PulseCon conference online. So your boy GRC, biceps in the chat for GRC. He will be speaking at the online conference.
Yeah, he'll be speaking at the online conference. And if anyone wants to see Gymrat or Sam in the flesh, reach out to the PulseCon promoters. Let them know they're willing and able, but expenses need to be covered.
Well, yes. Yeah, I'm too broke for that shit. I'm not even too broke. It's too bear market. I can't spend that much money and justify it. It's just like, I'm sorry. And
if the promoters are listening, him and Sam can share a room to bring costs down. You know what I mean? But at least, you know, gotta, you know, cover the room and airfare for them to get there.
If people want me to go, like, I'm just saying, like, and I might go to Vegas and just party too. Like, you gotta understand, like, $600. I'm not spending it. Like, I'm not there yet. Like, I have a house, I have bills, I have shit I gotta do. I have a mission, I have a goal, and I'm not spending my money on random ass tickets for shit. That's just me, though. I'm not saying other people. It's just me, you know. And I've always kind of been like that. Everyone likes Hex appeal. Retweet this if you absolutely love Hex. Fully complete, audited, secure smart contract that works. Yes, I love all that. Hex is trending big. 10.2K tweets. What's the duration for that? I wonder. You might know that, Bullish, if you do.
So whenever I see people sending that scroll up, because I'm just gonna call FUD on this whole trending Hex shit. Mm-hmm. If you're getting it from, let me open up Twitter so I can be more accurate. Mm-hmm. Anytime you go on trending, if you're on the For You page, is bullshit. You need to click on the actual trending tab. And if you see Hex there, then it's truly trending. If you see it on the For You tab, that means it's trending based on the crap that you accumulate on Twitter. So
was it ever actually trending? I
don't know that because I wasn't around. I was too busy. So this is just everyone listening. Anytime you see something trending, if it's on the For You page, consider it what we call a fake pump. You need to see it on trending for it to truly be trending on a global level. If you see it on For You, it's based on the stuff you consume on Twitter. So right now, I'm on my For You page. I'm seeing a bunch of crypto shit and a bunch of NBA stuff because that's what I consume.
It was trending under business and finance on this guy's, and then but then it says Solana right under that for 402K tweets. Yeah, this might be fake.
So that's all I'm saying. So when you're looking at the trending stuff, and before you start, you know, oh, we're trending, make sure you're looking at the right place. Because if you're consuming Hex content all day long, it just needs a little bit of engagement for it to be trending under For You. It's all algorithm stuff.
Yeah, pretty wild. You know what I'm saying? It's trending. It's not for no. It was trending. It's not for you. It's good to pump, man. Yeah, no, it's definitely good to pump. I'll pump it. Everyone,
it's definitely good to pump. I'm not saying don't pump
I tweet Hex money sign on everything.
I just want people to be clear on when you see it trending, where is it trending?
Yeah, exactly. So guys, in the comments, is there anything that you would like me to do a show on? You know, I'm going to talk a little bit about this show in particular and moving forward. You guys know I'm making a lot of moves. So far, we have Crypto Kool-Aid in the docket. We have Maximus Dow Team, Dip Catcher and Gold Key in the docket. And I think that's it for right now as far as like the episodes that I have off the top of my head. So if there's anything you guys would like me to do an episode on and to dive into, please comment below, comment and let me know. Jexa did a sick technical 19 episode of short vids explaining liquid loans using Pulse Haunted strategy. If you make the E10, you'll be hooked. What it'll do for... Can you send me a link for that, please, Scott? That would be great. So we suck then, LOL? No. The Brooklyn Nets are Bazura. Yo, do you think that was the bottom? No, I don't, Rays, but I'm not a genius. So I can't tell you exactly when the bottom is, but no, I don't think at all that's the bottom. I think we have another 50% to go. Roughly or more. Depends on the volatility of Bitcoin. But if we're going off Richard Hart's call that Bitcoin is going to be 11K, then yeah, I think that would directly, as we saw with Hart's law, move everything that's traded together down, including Ethereum. I love how Hex is trending in his 2-on-1 on coin market cap. That's so funny. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Is there any cool videos? Oh yeah, you know, another thing that I want to show. If anyone has an Instagram and they don't follow me, I'm very active on Instagram now. I'm glad that the Hexicans are making it over there, and I'm leading the charge. I can screen share this real quick. Boom. So here's my IG. I'll drop the link below. If you're not following me, I'll follow you back. If you're a Hexican or anyone who DMs me, watch out. I got a lot of fake freaking accounts, like a disgustingly high amount. So just watch out. These are art pics with RG3, PulseX stuff, party with the PulseX. We got all the Surfit stuff, Surfy Burfy. You already know what's up. Partying. You want to see something funny? Oh my God. I just realized I'm going to get copyright for that. That sucks. That's so stupid. Hopefully it doesn't, but it'll be interesting. We need an NBA stream. We need a UFC watch party stream. I will do a UFC watch party stream. Absolutely. I'm over the NBA personally. Like, I like the sport, but like, I just don't watch it anymore. The Wizards suck too. And they're my squad. So, all right. So let me look. Do you believe we will see under 2 cents? Yeah, I do. I do. Whether that's for a long time or it stays sideways on that for a while, that's undisclosed. I wouldn't know. But I personally do. Crypto Sloth, what's up? Sloth, where are you at? Where are you at, Sloth? Where you been at? What do you think about this bear market? If we have... So yeah. WSB Mod talking Hex. Watcher Guru wrote an article, Wendy mentioning Hex. There have never been more influencers talking about this than today. I know I'm addicted to Hex for 2+ years. Yeah. Abit's seen this all the way through. Abit's been here since the very beginning. He has facilitated a lot of this stuff as well. So thank you so much. It's GRC. Are you on the East Coast or the West Coast? I'm in the DMV. I'm in the East Coast. Yeah, any questions you guys have for me too? While I'm doing the solo stream, I will answer. I'll answer all questions. I like interacting with the chat. I never have the opportunity to, so it's way nicer. It's way nice to be able to interact with the chat on occasion. Like, you know, it's not. Way nice to be able. It depends what we are kind of going through. Make sure you guys hit the like too while we're talking. Any questions you have for me, I'll answer. Hit the like. I'll answer all questions about everything. I'll answer all questions about everything. And if you want to donate to the channel to keep me alive, I'll post that too. But please ask me questions. Bob, how you doing this morning, Bob? People are not selling Hedron because it's not worth.
we need Bob on stream. That's what we need.
Bob, get your butt on stream right now, you broke pleb. How about that? Just kidding. Bob's literally my guy. I beg him to live in his basement. People are not selling Hedron because it's not worth plugging in S to get 50 cents out of a 70 trillion gazillion tokens. Yeah, I know, but Bob, that's very short-sighted thinking. Bob.
No, Bob is trolling because Bob and I agree on the same thing. Hedron is meant to buy assets. And if you understand
Hedron's
that,
lit.
You buy as much of it as you can.
Look at that. Does that look like someone who would be wrong about an asset? That's a freaking tank of an arm. God damn. Sometimes I just shock myself with my elite status. Specimen, sexual specimen. Let's see. We got all. Oh, we passed that 2,000 like mark, by the way. Which I mean that 2,000.
Crypto Sloth just started paying attention. He heard Hedron too many times. He's like, "What?"
Yeah, hey Sloth, jump on here if you can, Sloth, because I actually have questions about Hedron. I'll send you a link. I'll just drop it in the chat. Just join up. If anyone wants to join and spit shit, but Sloth, you're invited first. I want to talk about Hedron. Yeah, I want to talk about Hedron. Why not? I want to talk about love. Yeah, I think Hedron, like when I see Hedron doing the pump that it just did while everything else does, it just makes me feel like, oh, we're right in there. It's right where it needs to be. And I've never bought extra Hedron. How long are you going to be on? I'll be on for however. It's all good, Sloth.
Yeah, go ahead. Eat your lunch. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no,
if we're still on, just hop on.
Yeah, I'm just talking to us for a little while, guys. How Hedron could ever pump again? It seems supply is limitless. Justin.
Let's save it in case Crypto Sloth comes in because there's a lot of game theory and a lot of gameplays on how you can use Hedron.
You got to think about the bigger picture here too. Like the amount of Hedron that you can mint if you're a whale is not that much. Yes, it seems like a lot, and if the pump price keeps going up, it seems like a lot. But if it stays down and they sell out of their position while other people are buying into a position that's much larger than them at the same rate, it's not easy to buy. It's not hard to buy a whale's position in Hedron right now. Is that some? Would you like to be a whale or would you like to be a pleb? So that's whale thinking, right? Like if you want to think bigger, you know, GRC. I always think bigger. I always think long. I'm a long guy. Damn it, Bullish. This lady's about to put the vacuum on. Hey, guys, I'm going to take a 1-minute bathroom break while she runs the vacuum in the kitchen. It only takes her 1 minute. I'm going to put just a reminder, guys. Well, hold on. Just a reminder. I don't want everyone to forget about the Pulse Chain 24-hour launch live stream. You don't get much more value than that, guys. 24-hour Pulse Chain launch live stream. I'm going to be here working 24 hours, working, ready, working. And I'm excited, guys.
You know what we can do instead of just putting the overlay? Let's play the old intro song.
Let's do it. That's a great switch up for a second. That's awesome.
We're gonna play the old intro song while
biceps in the chat.
Ladies vacuuming, and we'll be right back in 2 minutes.
All right, guys, give me 2 minutes.
Young folks, you dripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. Point one every day we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is is why they be losing. Pull chains out, gonna get me a check. Heath gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died, collect. Hex had me eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Buy my hex from the fucking start. Girl flexing on this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Buy my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Getting this back like a year ago.
I'm back, people. Sorry about that. Pee break. We need your brain on the stream. That's right, Sloth. All right, we'll send Sloth the link. I can actually poop quick. But I was I actually sent something on my phone too. I sent a message. Okay. Game on. That's right, guys. That is right. That vacuum pisses me off.
So if anyone is having any issues today dealing with exchanges, there's a massive outage going on. And I've said this before, you know, nothing's truly decentralized because you're still hosting on someone like AWS or whatever the case is. So Cloudflare, for any you techies out there, is having an outage right now. So it's affecting a lot of stuff. So if you're trying to do stuff on exchanges and you're having issues, it's a global CDN network, content delivery network, and a bunch of other stuff. But it's basically a global CDN network. A lot of people piggyback off of them to make sure their uptime is up, 99.9%. So if they're down, it has a ripple effect across pretty much a large percentage of the internet.
So that's like a little bit of a centralized situation that I didn't even know about, like centralized on centralized.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's fair game, right?
Right.
Rat, you got a maid or you still live with your folks? I wouldn't call her a maid. We call them cleaning service people. I think that would be more appropriate. Maid would get me a drink. I don't think she would get me a drink if I asked her. I wouldn't ask her for that, obviously. But yeah, guys, you heard that here first. The Coinbase and exchanges right now, be aware of what you're doing. Pay attention. You got to make sure if you want to have money in the system, put money in USDC and put it in the system, because sometimes, bullish, you can't rely on those exchanges.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's just the way the infrastructure is built. So like if you go to like any of the major central exchanges Twitter accounts, you'll see that they're tweeting it out that they're having an outage due to Cloudflare. So, that's completely out of their control. And there's not much we can do about it until the complete infrastructure of the internet changes. And that's not happening. And
that's not something people are necessarily educated about. Like that Coinbase can go down and shit.
And no fault of them.
No. I mean, it's hard to understand that. I am holding Maxi to death just because they said that something big was coming for Diamond Hands. I hope that thing wasn't Team. Don't worry, they'll always follow through on whatever they say. They're excited, and they got a lot going on today. Bullish, what are you excited about in the crypto world as far as like some of the other stuff? You know, like I know you like to talk about other shit a lot with your buddies and like just look at other stuff and like pay attention to other communities. Is there anything that like jumps off the board at you a little bit as far as like not necessarily tech wise, but more so like just what you've been seeing?
I'm really excited about what Dipcatcher and Goki have coming up. I'm a big fan of them because they used to, they use very simple functions to create great products, and I'm a firm believer of simplicity. So I'm really excited about what they have cooking up. There's a lot of stuff I do that you're aware of that I don't really talk about here. We have to like create a separate episode for that because even though I'm consider myself a Hexagon, I do degen on on the Binance side and jumping into little things. And I think I spoke about it here yesterday. It's me. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to dig deep. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So, whether I get wrecked in those situations or make money, it's all a learning experience for me. I'm here for the long haul. I want to know what's good, what's crap, what's out there. Because, things are getting forked and copied and iterations left and right. So,
and I think you're learning it's a little harder to find information, even if the people have a lot of money. It's like sometimes there's a lot of like we talk a lot about like the nuance, like conversations that go on and like what are people not talking about, right?
Right.
What do the rich guys not tell you? Because they don't tell you everything. It's not how they roll. It's just not like some people do. Richard Hart decided that that's kind of his ethos, just to kind of because he's kind of at the top of the financial food chain, most likely. But in general, hold on one second. Fucking Christ.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, we can just deal with it. It's not that bad. But yeah, my whole thing is I'm very hands-on, and there's so much information out there from so many different people, and and we speak about this all the time. We don't know who's like truly being honest out here, but someone who just hopped in the green when we know is always honest.
Let's transition real quick
and has no problem giving to us how it is. So let's bring.
This is about as rare as a Charizard holographic.
I don't think I've ever been on video on your channel. I was on like a random Wednesday night.
We were on video once together, but I don't know if it was on my channel.
No, it's probably on Gen Hex or,
Dude, what's up? You're the most honest guy in crypto.
Well, I don't know about that.
But you know what I mean. What you watched the Power City episode yesterday?
I watched as much as I could. I'm still trying to like clean up from birthday week, and I got just stuff. It's just stuff, and like the fact that I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but I'm here. So
what's going on in crypto right
what's
now,
up?
Bob? Bob, tell us your macro. Come on, Bob. I haven't heard it straight from the horse's mouth yet.
Bob, my guy.
What's up, Bullish?
That's what I'm gonna call you from now on. You're gonna be Bob, my guy.
That's what Trap Gravity says.
Yes.
Twitter Spaces. This is Bob, my guy.
I love this guy, dude. For someone I've never met, I love this guy.
Well, it's the feeling's mutual. I'll say that much. So we got Sam in the chat. Abit is driving, can't get on stream. So I was like, well, whatever. I guess I'll be the like B or C.
Well, we might have Crypto
D-string,
Sloth on here to have a headbutt contest with you.
Crypto Sloth, I think he's British.
No.
Right.
Is he?
No,
he might be.
Huh.
But anyway, he's bullish on Hedron.
Bob,
bullish on Hedron? Yeah, I was like, so with Hedron, I still don't know. I mean, it's like I get the whole Hedron is supposed to be a derivative of a B share, but here's the thing: like B shares have an expiration date. A B share cannot last longer than 5,555 days, but a Hedron is forever. So it's like B shares will expire, but the Hedron they create won't, unless you come up with some mechanism to get rid of that Hedron.
But
I know it's going to pump.
It's going to pump over time because there's no multiplier now, and the people that bought in early will have so much more.
Yeah, but imagine there's like 100-mile tall tidal wave that's 10 years out from the shore still, and it's like, oh, it's going to get diluted over time. Fuck.
I know, yeah, and then you start talking about use, but like I feel like when there's a use case that people can trade within, like that's the only thing that I see with Hedron that's like a bit different as well. Is like when it comes to the HSI stakes and stuff, you can probably arb that to a degree, right? Like within like the value prop of that, depending on how much you're buying it for and vice versa and selling it for. So I feel like there's always going to be someone that wants to play within that, but I don't know enough.
Sorry, kid stepping in.
You're good.
Yeah, I actually I can stay for like about 15 minutes.
You're good, man. That's perfect.
And then I gotta move back on with the day. I gotta replace brakes on the minivan. It's
Wow.
Redneck life. Redneck life. Sorry, I got distracted there. What was the last part you asked me?
It just seems like people trade within these things. Why do the prices always pump at the same time for every coin? Like, why aren't there some coins that just don't? Like, I knew Hedron pumped today because everything pumped. So I looked over at Hedron, it pumped 22%. I was like,
yeah, I think there's some.
It's confusing to me. I'm still learning, but I'm getting more knowledgeable at the same time. But do you understand more intimately why the markets go up and down together like that than I do?
Well, I mean, I think there's something to that whole Hart's Law thing. I'm still not. I'd still like to hear from an expert whether or not he actually came up with that.
Well, you know, Richard, he always likes to,
you know, it's like he looked around and didn't know about an obvious name, so he's like, "It's mine."
No, I get that.
I think there's something to that. I mean, just the obvious, I mean, you can just see it anecdotally. Like everything pumps together. I mean, some of that's human actions. Some of that is just, you know, the price moves up together before people have the chance to arbitrage out the value and through other pairs. Remember, I'm not the expert trader here. I've never claimed to be a good trader.
Well, trading
at all.
Trading's not like
You're just the honest guy in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's the thing. So like doing tech work, I mean, bullish, you know, like you can like pull the wool over people's eyes, but it usually comes back to bite you. It's usually like worth it to just explain it. Like, here's what's going on. Here's what's screwed up. I screwed up. They screwed up. Here's where we're at. I had one of the colonels I worked for right after I got out of active duty and started doing contract work. He pulls me in. He's got his glasses all like tipped up on his face, all funny. He's like, "Bob, listen, I just need you to tell me if I got an ugly baby. I don't need everybody in the room to pretend like the baby's not ugly, but if something's messed up, just tell me I got an ugly baby."
And honestly, that's all they want to hear.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all they want to hear. They just give it to me how it is. Don't sugarcoat it. What's the issue? How to resolve it?
That's the problem with some of these projects too. It's like if you come at it from that standpoint, which you usually do, it's probably because that's your background. It's like every time there is technical failure possible, technical failure usually occurs. Like especially in a super bear market, right? Like everything that I see in crypto that's not super simple seems to not be able to handle any kind of super negative pressure, but it seems like it does when everything's going to the moon and everyone's just buying stuff. But you know, it seems like stuff like Hex will stick around, stuff that is actually done properly enough where it completely works. But like when Power City came on yesterday, and I don't know enough, I'm not the expert about all this stuff, but it's a lot, right? It's just a lot. There's just a lot going on, and I don't know all of it. You know, I can't figure it out.
I think people are used to, so from tech types, it's like Bullish is way more of a tech than me. Let's just establish that. Like he's been working on internet stuff since like there was barely an internet. So like I'm just like a mid-level mechanic on this stuff. Like I'm kind of like, I know a little bit about everything, but I'm not like super expert at anything. So like I think from technicians, like especially IT types, people are used to getting spun. They're used to getting spin. And like that's what you have with all of these new like cutting edge products. You have like 50% marketing and 50% like, hey, we don't really understand what these developers are saying, but we're going to take it and we're going to spin it the best way we can because, you know, it's the game. It's what everybody else is doing. It's like, you know, you get your money piled in, and if it doesn't work out, it's like, oh, sorry, crypto's hard.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest gripes with like not just this community, pretty much any community who's like, you know, really about like security and all this other stuff. They make the barrier to entry so much more difficult than what it actually is. And it's like, guys, like slow it the fuck down. It's like tech was here to make our lives better, not more complicated.
Yeah, and it's easy to it's real, and I've done it myself when people are like, "Hey, can you tell me about whatever?" You know, like friends and family, they're like, well, "What about Hex?" And it's like I want to do the whole like, "Well, hey, well, first there was Bitcoin, and Bitcoin inflated through a proof of work, and you know, there's this and there's ASICs, and it started
And we're
off on, you know."
basically just
So like I go way too deep, you know,
Yeah.
and I have to pull myself back and remember that like not everybody needs to know everything I need to know for it to be useful to them. Like what's the minimum viable useful amount of information I can get across? Because you don't have, like, I use car analogies a lot because I've also you know, I've been a mechanic for most of my life.
Not an expert on anything though.
Exactly.
It's like I'm not an expert on anything, just like 5 different things.
But there again, you know, it's like I'm not a mechanical engineer. I couldn't build like I would never do like a
You
race
couldn't
car
build a
build.
Tesla by hand. We get
Yeah,
I mean,
or even, you know, like there's rednecks all over that build like stock cars and stuff, and it's like
That's
that's just
true.
not me. I mean, you like tuning something, but you know, if you got like, you know, just a random piece of machinery that you have no idea why it's not working, I can like about a coin's toss, I can figure it out. So the point being, I usually take stuff back to mechanical analogies, and for me, it's like you don't need to be a mechanical engineer to learn how to drive, you know, to go down the road in a car. You should know the rules of the road. You should know how to not be an idiot. And you should know that sometimes there's drunk people out there that'll come across the median to try to hit you. But so to try to put that into crypto, it's like you don't need to know all this algorithm and block timing and stuff. If there's someone you trust that can do a quick sniff test on something and be like, yeah, the code looks like it does what it says it does. It doesn't look like this is like a, you know, blatant scam. You know, then it's just like you don't really need to dig into. I mean, yes, it is.
You don't
best
even once
to
you know
verify
what
that
you're
for
doing,
yourself.
you don't have to dig too deep either. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like if
It's
we were
also
to,
focusing on your strengths. Like if that's not your strength, like don't worry about it. There's plenty of people who can fill in that gap. You know what I mean? Like, and especially nowadays compared to like when I first got on the internet, the access to information I have now, like if I want to like dive deep and go down the rabbit hole on something, I can actually do that now. Before it was impossible.
Well, that's my thing.
no.
So it's like, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, like, you know, I'm not like I've like mostly the good things that have happened to me in crypto have been honestly, I don't want to say they were like completely luck, but sometimes I do things that seem like they're not optimal, and then in the future I look back and I say, oh, actually it kind of worked out. So like a lot of the times I share like cautionary tales, like, hey, learn from my mistakes. Like don't make those same mistakes I do. Like for instance, like when it came to Hex, like I was way early in Hex. I knew about Hex like basically from the moment that Richard first started talking about it. But even still, I didn't understand quite the impact of the T-share increase. So, and part of that was because the user interface at first, like go.hex.com. Actually, it was just hex.win, go.hex.win at the time. The interface didn't show the T-share rate as expressed in hex per day. Like, so it didn't say like, you know, like it does now, like 21,000 hex for a 1-day T-share. It was like the T-share rate was like, it started off as like 1.0 and then it went to like 0.99. And my dumbass was like, oh, that's a tiny change. Not thinking like, you know, if I would have staked anything I had that very first day, that would be like, especially if it was staked for the max length, that would be like the best stake I could ever make. But instead, I was, you know, getting some out of the adoption amplifier on different days, and I was keeping it liquid. So like I stayed liquid for like most of the first year. So like I gave up massive amounts of return that I could have gotten off of these really early stakes at the best possible T-share rate. But what I missed, I'll tell you what I didn't fuck up with. I was just under too much pressure with work and with home life and stuff. And what that pressure saved me from was doing stupid stuff like making a stake that ends every day or a stake that ends every week even. Because the people that did that early, because the gas fees were like a penny, they're paying, you know, thousands in gas fees that they would probably avoid. If they could go back and do it again, they would probably group their stakes better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone that was in really, really early had way too many stakes, probably.
This is the
Because
old
just
interface.
because the price was cheap. So they couldn't extrapolate the data in their mind that the gas prices would get to roughly $400 when it gets clogged.
Right.
Like you can't think that when it's $1. You're just like whatever.
No, it's like when you're staking for 5 cents maybe, and then your in stake a few months later is
Did they change the block size at some? Remember when they always mentioned, and this is something that I never understood. They always mention how Ethereum screwed Hex by switching up maybe the block size or whatever, or something like when the gas fees kind of made a jump to being like harder on Hex because of the end stake protocol.
Some of this stuff gets out to like the edge of my knowledge, and that's one of the things where it's like I'll just throw something out there that I think is close, and usually there's somebody in the chat like me that hopefully knows better and correct me. But I think that Ethereum has. So like Bitcoin has more of like a static block size, whereas Ethereum's is more
Are we talking S load?
Well, S load is a factor that goes into, so when people say like, oh, Ethereum can do this many transactions per second, that's kind of bullshit, because it depends on what kind of transactions you're trying to do. Are you trying to do something simple? So like the simplest transaction you can do on Ethereum is sending Ethereum, the base coin, from one address to another. But whenever you're sending any ERC20, you have to include, so the transaction includes basically the data to move the fee from your address to the miner's address, whoever wins that transaction. So it's kind of a little bit of an open-ended proposal. You're not sure who's going to win the block. And then also on top of that, you have the data that has to get written inside of the ERC20 contract to say, hey, move my few hundred hex or 1,000 hex from my address to that address over there. Because that's another thing that just a little aside, if people, I've even gotten tripped up on this. So like, yeah, your Ethereum doesn't stay in your hardware wallet in MetaMask. Obviously, it's on the chain, but it's the same for the smart contracts. The balances are in the contract. So like every address and its balance is recorded in the Hex smart contract for Hex and for USDC and so on and so on. Yeah,
that's all. It gets all confusing and shit. But like when you talk, it's just easy. I just tell people when the system gets too clogged, the number goes up too high, and that's basically how it is. But I just think at some point they said it kind of like switched, or they kind of had something within Ethereum that switched that made the duration of the Hex stakes kind of like very not cost effective. But
and then so the S load increase. So the S load is the again, like I said, I'm kind of getting out on the end of my skis. But it's basically it's a mathematical function. Basically, it's a mathematical function that you can use within the Ethereum operating system, I guess is a good way to describe it. It's like you're asking the Ethereum computer to calculate a number for you and then record that in the Hex contract. And calculating that number uses the S load function for ending a Hex stake. And since they increased the cost to use the S load function, that's where we really got hammered.
Yeah, because Hex has a figure of math for each day staked. Yeah, that's kind of what I heard, and that makes sense. Bob, we got to do a full episode sometime.
Yeah, I got to
jump off.
I should probably, I don't want to just like cut it right there.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna. If you jump off, I'm just.
Was anybody? I'm like terrible at watching the chat. Did anybody like and scream at me when I was?
Not at all. Everyone was actually showing you love.
Well, and that's the thing. So it's like I talk shit about Hedron, but like I'm the kind of person that I would never just dump it. It's like a thing that I got for free. So it seems like it'd be like shitty of me to just go out and dump it. I mean, I'd rather like learn how to LP, because like that's another thing that I'm learning this time around. Now that we've got our own decks coming in, I've actually kind of got to like put on my big boy pants and learn some.
Yes, Bob's big DGen. Let's go. Bob's gonna learn how to provide liquidity on some of these pairs because he probably feels a little more confident on the Pulse X side of things and it's time to learn for all of us, because there is money to be made there if you have certain pairs that you're not going to sell anyway.
There is.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm disagreeing.
First for me, it was Bitcoin. And then I like really like basically right as I came along was when the Bitcoin cash fork was happening. And so like as a new guy, I was like, I don't know, these guys seem to have a point. And so I kind of like went over there and a lot of my Bitcoin I flipped into Bitcoin Cash. And then when both of those started going out in a dumpster fire, that was about the point where Ravencoin was coming along. So I was mining Ravencoin and also swapped my like 50% down Bitcoin into Ravencoin, and then Ravencoin dropped like another 75%. So I was like leveraged down on this Ravencoin position. And I remembered last night that I have used Binance one time, and it was like for the like 2-hour window when Ravencoin pumped like a year later that I could just get my Bitcoin back. And then it was Hex. And now it's like Hex Maxi, Hedron, Doge.
It's crazy.
It's like, and oh, by the way, staking and yield, like single-sided staking, liquidity providing, all these things that people have like, swam ahead of me personally. Like I've been kind of saying that I think that, well, I know that I swing too hard in correction. And I think the Hexagon community, in my opinion, swung too hard in the capital preservation side. So basically it was like, hey, don't ever talk about anything except for Hex ever, because we're tired of other communities coming in and sharking our value away from us. And basically
now we kind of have to
washing people out. And now it's like we've swung so hard into that Hex only, hold only, stake only, that all of this like yield farming and liquidity providing, it's all like for the average Hexagon, it's like, it's way out there.
I'm gonna swap you off for Crypto Sloth. If you got anything you gotta go, don't you?
I'll say hi to him real quick, and then I'll back up because I've never met him. If you don't mind.
What's up? How's it going?
What up, Crypto Sloth? How you doing, bro?
I kept it warm for you. I kept it warm.
I appreciate it, Bob. Making it easy for me, getting everybody warmed up.
Yeah, I mean, I can like come in here and spout off my redneck bullshit, kind of talking out of my ass, and then somebody can come along like, "Hey, now that he's gone."
Am I audio all right? Can you hear me fine?
Yes, perfect. So we've been talking about Hedron a lot, right? And I've been thinking about it a lot. And
never heard of it. Explain it to me.
And I just want to know. I want you to reiterate, what are people missing, and not in like just in a technical way. Like what are some of the value props that you feel like the average person who just thinks Hedron is whatever because they don't know about it? What are some of those things that are a little bit stickier that you think? And I was also talking about trading within them, so I was curious what you thought about that as well.
Wait, you want me to talk about like what people are missing, or like what
people are missing first? Like, because that's for me too.
Okay. So I don't think a lot. I'll talk about the people who understand the system and who are like offering like criticisms of it overall. I don't actually think they're missing anything, because all of their criticisms are accurate about like the current state of the system, and that they understand that there is a long-term value proposition of it. But I think what it is the way they value opportunity costs and the time it's going to take for the system to potentially get going in of itself. They don't personally see it worth putting any capital into it, because it's not necessarily a guarantee that the system starts running as intended for the major value proposition to manifest. And for that, I can't really blame people. Like, you manage your portfolio as you see best. If you don't think the timeline for the potential for price appreciation is acceptable to put in fresh cash or to reallocate part of your portfolio to it, I think that's perfectly justified.
I just don't see a world where Hex moons and Hedron doesn't go up a lot.
Yeah, no, I also agree. Like, I'm pretty focused on, every time I DCA, a certain percentage of that goes into Hedron, because I like the ratio that I'm getting per dollar. And I personally like the long-term value proposition of the system, as well as tapering that against how much of the entire system I can obtain with the amount of money I can put in now. So like, there was a tweet from Alex or something where he was like, if you put X amount of money, you'd be able to get like 0.05% of the entire Hex system with that, maybe like 10 grand or whatever. But if you put in that same 10 grand into Hedron, you get like 1% of the entire supply. That's not the exact numbers, but that's the concept. And so the question becomes, if you've identified a system surrounding some kind of token that you think has the potential to appreciate in price in the future, and you can obtain a significant share of that system for cheap now, is it worth it? And when I ask myself that question, I think it is, because you can obtain such a large share for very cheap.
Yeah, that's what I was telling people right before this. I said, yeah, if you're a whale in Hex, you might not be super interested in being a whale in Hedron. But if you're a normal guy and you have 100 grand, you might be a little bit much. If you are willing to take a riskier play to be a bigger player in a future system that you might like that's how you become a whale in general. Like that's how you do it. And people, every time a whale makes that first buy, I'm sure people call them stupid. You know what I mean? Like some people, right? Like some people are like, you shouldn't have done that, right? And then like 20 years later, those people are gone, and you're like, that was the only reason I was successful. You know what I mean? So I just looked up the Hedron crypto numbers for myself. Yes, 7,554 HSIs were made until 31st of May, staking Hex for an astonishing average stake length of 13 years. Additionally, you can see that most of the HSIs were created in April, but it's picking up again. People are kind of lulled on everything going down heavy. They're going to put Hedron in the back of their mind while everything's dumping, of course, because they're going to be a little worried. And then as things start to level out and people start to realize, get a little bit of capital back in general, like get capital back into their bank accounts, work a little bit more, spend a little less money in the bear market. This looks pretty accurate as far as it looks healthy-ish,
Yeah. And then here's a good heuristic I like to use to put kind of into context how much of the Hedron system you can get. 1 billion Hedron is the equivalent of a squid position. And, with these 2 years of Hex history, we see how powerful a squid position is. I mean, 100 T shares, even on this 90+% dip, is basically damn near unobtainable unless you have a large influx of cash and you leverage your time for a long period of time. Like you have to have like a solid 5 to 6 figure investment into the system, and you have to leverage yourself out 5 to 15 years just to get those 100 T shares.
You got to go.
Hedron, yeah.
Is that a squid position relative to the current supply or the potential supply from all of the 10x stakes that are out there?
With all of the 10x stakes out there. Like a squid who has a 10x bonus would get about 1 billion Hedron at the end of their entirety once they've served all of the days of their stakes.
And that's probably $2,000 right now. Roughly.
What?
That's probably roughly $2,000 at the moment.
200.
200 for $1 billion?
But now it's gone up a little bit, so $300 to $400 you can get about $1 billion. So it's like you got to ask yourself, is it worth getting a squid level position in this new system whose supply is tied to the exact same I don't want to say system again, but it's tied to the share system.
The same asset.
Yeah, the distribution is tied to the share system, and we know how valuable a squid position is in the share system. Is it worth a $200 to $500 bet to get that same number in this new system? And that's a question you have to ask yourself. I personally say yes. I've made that bet. Full disclosure.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, and I think it makes a lot of sense, and that's what I've been noticing more as I stare at charts. It's just like things move together, whether you like it or not sometimes. And this has actual positive externalities to make that happen, like with an actual use case, at least something. Most things move together with no use case. It's just like they're pinned together because people trade within them.
I'm thinking I think it's also a little bit of like a layer zero, like social thing and like a PR problem because, it's like Bree didn't help anybody with the way that that person was behaving at the beginning, like shit all over the reputation. And like, I don't know if more could have been done to try to squash that. And I don't know if it would have helped. Like hindsight's 2020. Like people like to blame 100% of the death of Hedron on Gunther. And it's like, that's just not fucking true. It was just people didn't price in that much supply at the beginning, and they got euphoric and started buying it up. And then people decided, instead of doing the long-term, probably more patient thing and holding on, they decided to start dumping it. And Gunther saw it coming. And, yeah, maybe it's a little shitty that he was saying, hey, he was all pro and then like switched on a dime and sold. Yeah, it's a little shitty. But I mean, there was other things socially, like Maddie's retarded rant didn't help. And
the macro didn't
help
just
it all sucked. So like my point being, like and we were already in a downtrend. Yeah. But like there was all kinds of like I think some time and some distance from all of that like distaste, I guess, and like frothiness just in the social realm, I think is going to help some too.
Yeah.
Like,
and,
hopefully people, like, you don't have like whales, dolphins, and sharks that are going to, like, hold a grudge against Bree, and every time you start to peek up on the chart, they're like,
let's dump it down.
Sorry.
But if they do, they do. It's I personally don't really concern myself or spend too much time thinking about like, oh, who specifically dumped or why it happened, et cetera, et cetera. Because ultimately, I really don't have any control over that, and I don't really. People are going to sell, and it's their money. They're allowed to sell. There's really nothing unethical about it. Maybe like if you like quasi pump and dump for a minute, but you're also allowed to change your mind in real time, and you're not necessarily beholden to your audience to tell them, unless like you build your audience off like calls and stuff like that. So all that history, to me personally, it'll kind of go down as like ancient Hedron history in like in the next couple years. But I think you're all right. It did kind of give it, has left a bad taste in some people's mouths when they see the ticker.
Hex had like a year in the. I'm assuming, I don't know what point you came along, but we had basically like a year to kind of like bicker back and forth about, oh man, the OA gets how much, and what. Oh, now we're going to do an adoption amplifier, because there wasn't going to be no adoption amplifier at first. That came along like in the last 8 months. It was just going to be Bitcoin free claims, and then he was like, hey, EOS, why don't we mimic the EOS thing? So like we had a solid year and a half of like pre-bickering those things out, and we still had like 3-4 months of, oh, this sucks, oh look, it dropped 90% because we went from 1 billion to 2 billion to 4 billion in the first week.
And you also had hyperinflation arguments against Hex as well, not just the amount of inflation being pumped out perpetually over time, because you can at least argue that that's tapered against the time lock, but with the whole adoption amplifier phase, you had like, what was it, 500 million? 500
It was $500 million a day.
Half a billion,
like billion day one, $500 million for 350 days after that.
And so you had at least a year where just tons of tokens, just the faucet was off, and they were just getting flooded into the market. So it's not one for one, but there are analogies you can make between early Hex days and Hedron days.
Yeah, so it's like most of the time when I'm like ragging on it, it's like, no, I'm not gonna dump. I'm not that kind of guy. I'll find other ways to exit if I do ever exit. Like I've always said from the beginning that I think Hedron is to hold long term, so that if the HSIs ever do get legs, if the token ever does have enough value to where it's worth it to
take an advance,
basically put your advance up, put your capital on the line, your several hundred to several $1,000s for whatever, say one T share that you have locked up, and advance. You got to have a significant. Hedron's got to be worth a lot more for that to be worth it. And then when those ever get liquidated, that's what my free Hex is for, and that's what I think other people should be doing with their free Hex. But they're also free to sell instead of holding.
I think that's a good perspective to take. There was a comment I was gonna make on that, but it's like most people discount the system because of kind of the catch-22 or like the inability to get the system going, because it's like, well, why? The redemption value of Hedron is on the liquidation market, and why would anybody take an advance if you can only get like pennies on the dollar? So the system never gets going. But if you make the assumption that the system goes, then all of a sudden it all fits together and it runs beautifully, And so it's like, do you want to make the bet? Is that system ever going to get up and going? Is the bet you're kind of making when you're positioning yourself with Hedron? And I would like to talk to more people who have been publicly critical about it, just to see what they would say. It's like, if we grant this premise that the liquidation auctions are going, what do you think the price appreciation potential of the token is?
It's interesting because the people that care about it are like more so guys that all the guys I talk to are so balls deep in Hex that it's like sometimes it's hard for them to open their mind to the point where they're really thinking about these assets in like a super technical way. Almost like some of the people in Hex would kind of wave it off in the beginning. The software was the same. It was the same software, but people didn't care because it wasn't buzzing yet. A lot of this also, in my opinion, has to do with marketing. Like, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying in general, like that stuff can catch on. But go on to the point. I kind of forgot what I was saying.
Sorry, you were asking me. You were asking me what I think the Hedron token price should be for it to be a viable proposition to advance.
If we grant that the price of the token sufficiently incentivizes people to take their advances, like to take their advances, and presumably
So like where I was
some-
describing, like putting legs on it, getting its legs.
and once we get the
itself,
legs
yeah.
going, once we make that assumption, where do you think the potential for price appreciation of the token goes from there?
I mean, it's just
Right?
you know, with it's just going to be time. So, and what I mean by that is like, you know, there's always that like in the background, there's like, oh, there's this, you know, high percentage that the OA holds in Hex that could be dumped. It's liquid. It's not locked in a smart contract or anything, but we've observed the behavior over time. And the owner of that value seems to clearly signal that they act on our behalf, but it's still not a hard promise. You know, it's still something liquid. So, I mean, with Hedron, like the whole thing, like getting its legs underneath of it, and getting to the point where, you know, the groundhog starts to peek up out of its hole, where you can actually loan a few more pennies in value than you would give up if you couldn't pay it back. You know, like, oh, am I going to risk my 1 T share HSI to get, you know, 50 cents of value? Like, no, sorry. But, you know, I mean, it's just, I've heard people talking about like some kind of mechanism to try to suck supply up off the market. And I think that's neat. I mean, you know, how Alex isn't perfect, obviously. Like I will say this, like the HSI part of the contract is enough for me to give it like full props. Like the figuring out how to do portable stakes is really cool. It's just unfortunate that the tokenized the token advance part is a little broken right now.
Yeah, I kind of have, well, not the opposite viewpoint, but I think it's a very big concession towards the token is not broken if you accept that HSIs are a good technology and useful. Because if you do that and the HSIs become an integral part of Hex onboarding, and like as the system grows, so do people using HSIs grow at least proportionally, then you already have that first impression with the system, and you already have a larger sample size by which whatever certain percentage of people may take in advance, assuming it's makes financially sense to do so. By introducing people to the system through the technology of the HSI, you increase the sample size for whatever that percentage would be where people would take advances of. You know, it's a little roundabout, and that's why I wanted to say like it's the nail in the coffin, but it's not. I just see it's a very big premise to concede if you think that the token's broken, because it's like that first impression is just made inherently through the technology of the HSI.
Well, and I've come to Hedron's defense too, and I said, look, you know, Hedron, the token has no more or less utility than like SHIB or, you know, like 1 Satoshi worth of Bitcoin. It's you know, it's a unit of exchange at this point. It doesn't quite have enough value to peak, like I was talking about, peak for the groundhog to peek its head up out of the hole, where you can actually start to extract a little bit of extra value out of your T share without outsized risk. But yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, hindsight's 2020. I mean, I think that I will still say, like, I appreciate the 10x bonus on my legacy stakes, but I think that it was too much freemium to give away to people that don't have skin in the game by locking their hex into the system. But you know, it's like that's just the way it is. You know,
yeah.
Hindsight's,
I understand that.
But I also think it's hard to extrapolate the adoption rate when it comes to, like, again, we were talking about the numbers. If you really look at the numbers, how little economic mass it takes to have such a larger portion, and that crypto is only 4% used in the world. If it was 50%,
you get 10% adoption, all of this stuff is going to go nuts.
Yeah, like if Hex had a $10 trillion market cap,
but at the same time, your Bitcoin transfer fees would go back up to $1,000 per transfer, and like everything would suck again.
Bitcoin.
No, I'm just saying, like, everything. That's just like the first suck that we experienced. Everybody experienced the suck of the full memory pool on Bitcoin first. Like, oh, this is a problem. And then people started talking. I remember people back then saying, this is going to be a problem for Ethereum too, and it's going to be a worse problem. And it was a worse problem. Just all these desperate people trying to cram into the one bus leaving the terminal and just bidding higher and higher. And just, you know, the miners were just sitting back and loving it.
Sal's just doing a nice 3x on the 2 day, just loving it. Like, guys, if you if you think sell is healthy and this pump is going to the moon, smash the like button. Because it disgusts me seeing all the sell trading once the shit bombs out. It sucks to see so many people lose money and then people make money at the bottom, like just like jerking it around, and you're just like, oh my god, so many liquidations, so many people stuck, and then all the hyenas come, and they just, and it's like, oh, and then the people buy back in, and you're like, no. Is sell totally dead, you think?
I don't have a dog in that fight, but I really do got to get going. But it's nice.
Yeah,
to,
get
nice
out of
to
here,
meet
Bob.
you.
Hey, it was great to meet you, Bob.
Yeah, thanks for
talking again, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
I'm gonna jump off here too. That was an extremely insightful, like 20-minute conversation about Hedron, guys. That helped me just get back in the groove of things. It's an exciting time to be a buyer, you know. So paying attention to Hedron and Maxi and everything is very important, I think.
I mean, Hedron right now, it's kind of like, you know, people are like, oh, Hex is 95% down. It's like, oh, look at the upside potential. Like, put in a few $1,000s. Same with Hedron. It's like, you know, if you can afford it, put in a few $1,000s, because if you lose it, you've lost a few $1,000. But if it takes off, it's going to be great.
Another crazy asymmetrical bet.
Yeah,
exactly. Like that's what we're looking for in crypto, pretty much, right? Like other than our general buys and holds, like you're looking for like moon bags, but like moon bags in crypto exist. And some of them have great use cases. So it's like some moon bags are better than others, you know? Like, like for real though, I feel like in a couple years we'll just be like, oh my God, we are so small-minded creatures. You know what I mean? Like in hindsight, you always look back at yourself and you're like, but anyway, we're gonna jump off of here, guys. Biceps in the chat for these two absolute studs. I'm gonna drop Crypto Sloth's Twitter
thanks for having me on.
I'm gonna drop Crypto Sloth and his YouTube down below. I'm gonna drop Bob's Twitter down below, guys. Make sure you follow these guys up. They're on Twitter. They're very active. Crypto Sloth is extremely insightful, and he's busy, man. He's in school and stuff. And Bob,
appreciate that.
Bob is the GRC boomer.
That's right. Loud and proud.
He will talk crap, and then he will be a nice guy right behind it. And that's the boomer style. We love it, guys. Have a great day. Hex fake pump. I'm not buying it. Sorry. I'm not buying it yet. Obviously, we know where things end up, guys. We're going to go back to DeFi proof. Bought my Hex from the start, guys. Have a great day.
Young folks, you dripping on them motherfucker.
With your heart. With your heart.
Bought my Hex from the fucking start. 0.1 every day we mark. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the Hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pro chains out, now get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex, I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart.